The latest now on the fiscal cliff. There has been very little actual movement this week on it. Both sides have their proposals on the table, but it seems like no one is sitting at those tables. There's been a lot of back and forth on television, but what's really getting done, if anything? Joining me now, as they do every week, CNN contributor Maria Cardona and Amy Holmes, anchor for Real News on The Blaze. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning, Randy.
I'm sure you've been watching all the back and forth. It's getting kind of ugly. The disagreements have been pretty harsh and certainly pretty public. Grover Norquist suggested that negotiations be fully televised. But would that work, or would it be better to just lock them in a room away from the cameras? Amy, I'll start with you on this one.
Well, you know, Dana Milbank of the Washington Post had a column this week where he said Republicans had not merely thrown up the white flag, but the white bed sheet. And I think you have seen movement on the part of Republicans that they're willing to, give the government $800 billion of revenue. And the president hasn't been willing to meet that because of his fetish about raising tax rates on the top 2%. But as for negotiations, I rather like Jeff Sessions, the senator's suggestion that these are really big issues and very big decisions that should be made by our elected representatives in the Senate and in the House. I'm not sure I like this idea that the president and the House Majority Leader, a Republican, get to meet behind closed doors and make enormous fiscal decisions just between the two of them.
Yeah. So, Maria, do you think more would get done if they did this in front of the cameras?
I actually think, Randy, it should be either one extreme or the other. They should either lock them behind closed doors until they get something done, let them hash it out, and then come out and announce the deal that we're not going to go over the fiscal cliff, or put everything on television. Because I thought I would ever say this, but I do agree with Grover Norquist that could give a hint to the American people about what each party is doing and who they are protecting. I think, frankly, the Democrats and the president would come out looking good on this, because from the very beginning they have said that they want to protect the middle class, extending middle class tax cuts, frankly, tax cuts for everybody on the first $250,000. And Republicans, frankly, are saying no to that simply to protect tax cuts for the top 2% of the wealthy. Let's put that on camera. Let's let the American people see where each party is, who they want to protect, who they want to see move forward, who they want to make sure gets these tax cuts and who doesn't.
Yeah.
And I think that would basically make them go somewhere.
People just might buy tickets to a battle like that one. But the big shocker...
I think we could sort it out right here, actually.
You think?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it.
Well, listen, the big shocker, though, in the Senate was the announcement by South Carolina Republican Jim DeMint. Listen to what he told Wolf Blitzer.
After this last election, it's apparent that we need to do more as conservatives to convince Americans that our ideas and our policies are going to make their lives better. This will give me the opportunity to help take our case to the American people and to translate our policies into real ideas.
So you think you could be more influential within the conservative movement as the leader of the Heritage Foundation as opposed to a United States senator?
There's no question about it.
Maria, to you first. I mean, can he really do more for the Republican Party from outside the Senate?
Well, it seems to me that he didn't think he was doing, that he wasn't really making that much of a difference in the Senate. I mean, you know, the Republicans are in the minority there. And frankly, he doesn't have a tremendous legislative record. He doesn't have any big legislative accomplishments. And what he is known for is messaging. What he is known for is for being a strong spokesperson. So I actually think it is a good move for him. It is a good move for the conservative movement if what they need to do is to change their message, to change their policies, and to really try to come up with a message that resonates with the American people. Because clearly, the one that they had this year, the one that they had in 2008 does not work.
Amy, I want to ask you about something that's kind of funny, but I'm wondering if you think it's stunt or serious. Comedian Stephen Colbert wanting DeMint's seat.
Well, he can certainly run for office and try to earn it if he can, but Nikki Haley, the governor of South Carolina, will be choosing who will replace Jim DeMint. And I have to say, I worked for the former Senate Majority Leader Bill Frist, and he had a joke as Majority Leader that it's like being an undertaker, 99 people under you and no one listening. So perhaps Jim DeMint felt that no one was listening. But as someone who actually believes in service and in, the honor of being a United States Senator, I don't exactly agree with quitting your term midway after all the people who worked so hard for you, who raised money, who went to the polls to support you. You know, it's going to stay in our seat because the governor of South Carolina herself is a Republican, so it doesn't really tip the balance. Yet I think that Jim DeMint did owe his constituents a little bit more than 2 years in
office. I actually agree with Amy on that, and unfortunately he's getting a lot of comparisons with Sarah Palin, which can't really be a good thing.
What about, just very, very quickly, because we're almost out of time, Amy, I'll ask you first. Hillary Clinton, Mayor Michael Bloomberg in New York apparently approached her about running for mayor. She said no. Do you think she'll reconsider, and should she?
I hope she will, and I hope she will lift the ban on 16-ounce sodas. We would really appreciate that here. And all of the bus lanes that apparently taxi cabs can't use because of all the traffic. Hillary Clinton, of course, is a political powerhouse. Whatever she chooses to do next, I think that we will all be watching on the edges of our seats.
Maria, very quickly on that.
I don't think she should reconsider that, Randy. I think she should consider running for president in 2016. I think there are a lot of people who agree with me on that.
Yeah, well, maybe the big gulp probably won't be an issue in 2016, but, you know, we'll see. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you both. Nice to see you again. Amy Holmes, Maria
Thanks so much,
Cardona.
Randy.
Have a great Saturday.
You too.